Hi everyone, my name is Nate Gerard. I'm a VR UX designer, and today I wanted to show you how to set up a mixed reality environment with Tvori, which is a wonderful animation software that I use to animate my user experiences in VR. So to start with, you're obviously going to need to go to tvori.com and download the application. The next piece of software you're going to need is this open broadcaster software or OBS Studio. These are both free for you to download to get an introductory license for. And then um, we need to get Tvori installed and OBS installed. When you get those installed and running, OBS will look something like this. Okay. I apologize for the echo. It's just because this is the screen that I'm recording on also. This area here is where your sources are located at. This is your video sources. Um, I have already added my Logitech Pro camera, but you can do that very simply here by clicking video capture device, call this your camera, right? And choose your webcam here, okay? I'm going to remove the duplicate that I just added here so don't confuse people. Um, And then the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a way to capture the Tvori application. So I just use game capture, call it Tvori, okay. And I choose a specific window from mode, and the window I choose is the Tvori window. So now you can see this is the actual Tvori window that we're going to be capturing. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. You can kind of see what I'm recording. Okay, so from here, I do want to point out that this has a display mode here where you can choose from your eyes or your cameras. For right now, I'm going to let you show you what I'm seeing through my eyes so you can see how I get these things set up, and then we'll switch to a camera once we have the cameras in place, okay? So let's jump into Tvori right now. Now, this is just a new scene. You can get to this scene by just going create new scene, right? The very first thing we're going to do is I'm going to pull out a timeline. Okay. This timeline has a preview for any cameras that are present in the scene. So we're going to need a camera, of course. So we get tools. We'll grab this camera and we'll set it out here. And we can take this preview and I'll put it off above that camera. Now, right now the camera doesn't see anything even though I'm standing right in front of it. And that's because we need to show UI on screen. When you show UI on there, now you can see things like the tray or myself or whatever. But the thing is, when you scale the scene, the camera scales with it. See how it's like making me look small or big? We don't want that. And the way to avoid that is to actually link this camera to this preview camera, because that preview camera does not scale with the rest of the scene, right? And so now that camera won't scale with the rest of the scene. And that's what we want for a good mixed reality experience. You can grab this camera and you can move it around in physical space. So that's all good. But the next thing we need to do is we need to add a green environment around me so that we can key that out so you can see my reality, of course, right? For the mixed reality part of the experience. We're going to go back to our packs, primitives, and we're going to grab this environment ball here. Okay. This looks a little funny because the normals on the sphere are pointing inside, right? So you can kind of see through from the outside, but when you're inside, it's regular. Okay, so with this, we're going to make it green, and we're going to do that with our materializer. Now, for the material that you want, you're going to start with an unlit material, and you're going to get this green color, this green chroma color. It's as bright green as you can get it. It's kind of annoying, but you'll see it keys out very, very well. And I'll get my material sampler, sample from that, and I'll paint my sphere that color. Okay, close out. Grab the sphere and scale it super big. Okay. Really big. Careful not to knock over your toys that you have all around you, because everybody likes having their toys around them, right? Okay. I'm also kind of in the middle of probably need to move this a little bit more so I can see my stage. There we go. And it's not quite big enough. Let's get a nice big sphere. And make sure it's behind you. Okay. So now I've got a sphere that's all around me. And I'm probably going to want to use this locker tool to lock the sphere so I don't accidentally move it. Right? And then we can deselect that sphere. And now we go. Now we've got, you can see my avatar, and I have got a green background. So now we're ready to actually chroma key. Okay. So I'm going to jump back here into OBS so you can see what I'm going to do here. Okay, so here's Tvori, the capture system that we're using. I'm going to select that layer and I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to select Allow Transparency. What that does is that already makes the background transparent. But probably also want to add a filter, an effect filter called chroma key, or you can do a color key maybe. Let's see what color key does. And you want to set to green. And that's not really what really helping. Let's try chroma key. Okay, let's set that right now and make it visible. Okay, so now you can see that anything that's green is getting keyed out, right? But we are, I'm going to switch back over to show you my background up. Obviously, these aren't lining up, right? So what we need to do is in this Tvori display menu, set it to cameras, and now the camera that I placed in front of me in Tvori is lining up roughly with the camera that's in the VR. So we're getting close. From here, it's really just a matter of moving this camera around and lining yourself up with it. And my head's kind of lined up, but these aren't. So I might need to move it out a little bit. You just kind of have to play around with where the camera's at. All I'm doing is dragging the camera around in VR. Whee. Oh. Anyways, you play around with it enough and you'll eventually get these to line up properly. The trick is getting it as close to your camera that is in real space as possible. So that's not bad. Yeah, could still get better, but just messed it up. Yeah. And if you have somebody helping you, it's a little bit easier. Um, but this gets you lined up pretty close. So now that I can start creating things in my scene. You know, pull out my shelf, and we can start, prototyping UIs, for example. Look, I can get a nice screen here. Have a shelf or something, right? And so on. And here I could do all my UI UX work in VR, which is really natural in a spatial environment to do spatial interfaces. Um, so that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your own mixed reality recordings in Tvori.